Hello everyone, today we're going to learn the daily Tanya for Kaf Bet Nissan Tafshin Peidal. So last time, if you remember, we learned about the sort of work that one needs to do in order to bring himself to a conscious understanding, to sort of a conscious living out of one's hidden internal yira that we have in our hearts, that one needs to take it, something that's theoretical and above time, and bring it into time and space and to make it so it has concrete effects. And so we do that by sort of meditating on the fact that Hashem really does see us, really does observe us all the time. And He really is watching. And when you understand that deeply, that will naturally bring you to an awe and a fear, at least to not do anything that would upset Hashem. And so now we're going to start our learning for today. Let's just recall one last thing that we ended on. That it says on the Maimer of Chazal, Ayin Roya ve'Ozen Shamas v'chol Ma'asecha b'Sefer Nichtav. So we say that there is a watchful eye and a hearing ear, and all of your deeds are written down in the book. So we'll continue on from here. And even though Hashem does not have a body, right? Because a seeing eye and a hearing ear would imply a body. For even more so, everything is even more known to him. To an even greater degree, right? Hashem is not limited by having a body. Therefore, his knowledge is not limited by the limits of, embodied knowledge. Therefore, he can know beyond. And his knowledge could be even more great. Okay. Al derech mashal. Rak hu al derech mashal. So, therefore, we can sort of understand in a sort of as a metaphor, like a person, the way he feels in himself, everything that is done, everything that happens to one of the parts of his body, like cold, or chom, or heat, or even heat that's in his toenails, right? Something that's so far away from the mind, from the head, right, from the central nervous system, right, that which feels. Right? For example, if his toenails are burned or are affected by fire in some way. And so too their very being, and everything that changes with them and happens to them. And he feels it in his brain, in his mind. Okay? So we're saying that Hashem's knowledge of what happens in creation is similar to a person's sort of internal feeling of himself. And is similarly to this knowledge, metaphorically, right? Hashem knows everything. It is in this way that Hashem knows, metaphorically speaking, that Hashem knows everything that is done with all of his creations, higher and lower. Because they all receive their life from him, and so on. So in the sense that they all receive life from him, they're all dependent on his existence, he can feel that in himself. As it is written, because all is from you. And it is said, and everything that is created is not cut off from you. Like the Rambam wrote, and the Kabbalists agreed to this. Just like the Ramak wrote in his book, the Pardes, that in Hashem's knowledge of himself, so because Hashem is the source of everything, and because his existence is the bedrock and the foundation and the essence of all other existence, is in his existence, in his knowledge of himself, he knows all that exists. But this parable, this metaphor, is just to sort of just something to try to explain in a very, very, very limited way. But really, the parable is nothing like the real thing. Because the reason that the human soul can feel what happens in the body, right? Which if you think about it, the way we conceptualize soul in the body, that would seem a bit strange. Even the mind and divine soul, it is in some way acted upon by what happens in the body. It is changed by what happens to the body, the tzaro, and its pain. Why is this? Why is it that the soul can be acted upon by the body? It's very strange. Because the divine soul, the mind, is completely enveloped. It envelops itself completely in the nefesh, in the vital soul, and the vital soul is enveloped within the body. Right? But Hashem is not acted upon by the world. The things that happen in the world don't create any change in God. And the change, it doesn't do anything. And even the world's existence doesn't affect God's existence at all. It doesn't make any difference. Quite the opposite. It is upon God's existence that the world's existence relies. Because neither of them create any change in him. In order to understand this in our mind, or you can read philosophy, you can read Kabbalah on this. Right? But all of Israel, it's enough that we believe, that we have just simple faith. And they say, you existed before the world was created, and you'll exist after the world is created. And what he's talking about here is Hashem's capacity to know, even though Hashem doesn't have a body, right? Which a lot of philosophers talked about. And he's saying that Hashem's capacity for knowledge is even greater. And he explains sort of a way to kind of understand how Hashem's knowledge works, even though it's pretty impossible for the human mind to understand. It's something akin to the way that a human being feels his own existence, and the way that his own existence kind of spreads out through his body. Hashem sort of feels his own existence, and the way his own existence spreads out through the world. Something like that. But of course, since the world's existence doesn't create any change in God, so it's not quite the same. He doesn't feel bound within the world similarly to the way we feel bound within the body. All right, so that's all for today, and we'll continue tomorrow. Good night.